There are so many points to literacy, as you can see on this board, to which include fluency, spelling, decoding, writing, phonics, guided reading, vocabulary. But we tonight are going to focus on critical literacy, which is an approach to literacy reading that focuses on the political, sociocultural, historical, and the economic forces that shape young students' lives.
Okay, so today we're going to talk about Christopher Columbus. So, Michelle, what do you know about Christopher Columbus based on the reading that we did in class?
He founded the Americas.
Found the Americas. What else do you know?
He was sent by King Ferdinand and Queen Isabella.
Okay, so I'm going to put Spain, so I don't have to write all that out. So, what else do you know?
This happened in 1492.
1492. Anything else that you can talk about?
No.
No? Okay. Well, that's a good start. You're telling me that Christopher Columbus found the Americas, that Spain sent him, the King and Queen of Spain sent him, and that it happened in 1492. All right, great. What else can we figure out about Christopher Columbus? Like, what do you want to know?
Well, my notes don't really, that's all my notes say.
Okay, interesting. So maybe we should ask some more questions to try to come up with some other information we might be able to find out about Christopher Columbus. Okay, so you've given me 3 facts that you found out through your reading about Christopher Columbus. But how do you know that he discovered the Americas in 1492? Michelle, how do you know that?
Well, my notes said it. I did my homework last night.
And your notes said it. That's interesting. Do you think that maybe there's some other sources that you could check with to see if that's in fact the correct information?
Are you giving me more work, Miss Duncan?
I am. I'm going to have you get on your computer
Okay.
and Google this another article about Christopher Columbus. I want you to tell me what you read, what you see on that.
Oh my! Columbus never discovered America? Why did I do my homework assignment if it's wrong?
That's a good question. Do you think your information is wrong? Or do you think that you just have more questions that you're finding out there's more to the story than what was written in the first assignment?
I'm guessing the second one that you just said.
What does it say about the fact that Columbus didn't in fact discover the Americas? What do you know about the Americas before the English colonists came here? Who did they encounter when they came here?
The Indians.
Right. So does it stand to reason that Christopher Columbus coming here long before the English colonists probably also encountered some people here?
Oh.
So is it fair to say that Columbus did not in fact discover the Americas?
I guess so, yeah.
Good. We're going to study some more about this this new information, and you're going to read some different accounts of Columbus's voyage, because we actually have first-hand accounts from a priest that traveled with Columbus that you're going to read and be able to see different perspectives than what we've necessarily known or been taught based on the readings that you have been assigned over the years. Christopher Columbus and what you know about him and what you know based on your reading is that I wanted to talk to you about what's going to happen throughout this U.S. history course throughout the year. And you're going to read a lot of textbooks, you're going to read articles, you're going to read primary source documents that talk in the person's voice that was actually at an event that we may be studying, or a president might have written something in a journal that you're going to read about. And then you're also going to read about just ordinary people like us, ordinary citizens. And when you're doing that, there are important questions that you need to ask, because not one text tells a full story. There's always other voices that aren't heard, or other voices that are heard someplace else, so you have to figure out where those voices are so that you can put a whole picture together and you can understand the context of the events that are happening in history and how they can connect to events that are happening today.
So you're saying that my notes weren't necessarily wrong, and what I just read, what I just Googled, isn't necessarily truth, it's just more information.
It's more information to create a bigger picture that can get as close to factual information that we can get with the sources that we have.
I feel like I'm gonna get a lot more homework tonight. So in critical literacy, it is very important that as parents at home, you can ask your children these particular questions to get them to interrogate the text a little bit more. As future social studies teachers, we will be asking these questions of them within the classrooms. Questions such as, who wrote this? Was it a male? Was it female? Were they of a different race? How old were they? What socioeconomic status did they have at that time period? Questions such as, what time period was the text written? What else was going on in the world during this time, and how did that influence the writing? Another question to ask is, how is the author influencing my opinion? So the balance of facts and opinion, is there a balance? Or am I being persuaded to understand the text in a certain way? Am I being influenced in a certain way to read this text and get a certain opinion or fact, if you will, such as Christopher Columbus discovering the Americas? Am I being influenced to believe this, and why?
Okay, critical literacy is very important in all high school classrooms, but especially in a social studies classroom. It's a great chance to incorporate multicultural education, giving voice to people who might not have had a voice before, or at least allowing the perspective to be seen from these non-dominant group members. And so that's why we really wanted to focus on teaching students to interrogate the text, really understand why they're trying to get to the bottom of who wrote these things and why they're written. It's kind of getting into the historiography of the content of a subject, understanding that it changes over time, and try to create a complete picture of a historical event or a person so that it makes meaningful connections with their current lives.